Welcome back to another episode of the Entrepreneur Lounge podcast. And today is a special pod episode. I've got my right-hand man, my business partner, Matt Jones. He's a CPA. Matt, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Thanks, Garrett. I appreciate it. I've been working with Garrett for the last 2.5, almost 3 years. I started off as an accountant with CLA or CliftonLarsonAllen over in California a few years ago, back in 2019. I did some audits, did employee benefit plan audits, and then I made my way over to the tax team. I actually think I frustrated them because I bounced around on teams too much, trying to find the one that I liked. But I ended up, leaving after a couple of years. I was there. I was an intern actually for 3.5 years. Not by my decision. I was hoping to switch to an associate, but they had some rules over there that you had to be an intern until you were out of school. And I was interning the whole time I was in school. So when I made my way, I finally graduated from college, and I finally became an associate. I was an associate for about a year, and then I left. So I made my way over to Houston. I was actually looking to leave the accounting field. So if you had asked me at the time that I was working at CLA, if I was going to become a CPA and run my own accounting firm, I would have said no. Probably would have been doing something else, is what I thought I was going to be doing. And so I was thinking I was probably going to be in the real estate world. Doing either specific accounting in the real estate world or helping with real estate development. That's what I did. I did a tax. My specific niche with CLA was to do taxes for real estate development companies, not realtors, but real estate investment companies, real estate developers, mostly in California. But they had investors coming in from outside the US pretty often, investing into California. So that was a team I worked on, and I was thinking I would work in that after working at CLA. I ended up getting a call from my old high school football coach, called me to come out to Houston and start working for him. So I decided, you know what, I wanted to leave this company anyways. I wanted to do something different, learn how to run a small business. That's what really excited me. I was going from a company of, I think there are 5,000 to 6,000 employees internationally. And I went to a company of 15 people, and half of them were all family. So learn how to look at what a small business is run like. So moved out to Houston, worked at their in the warehouse. They had an office, but I worked basically in the warehouse doing the accounting and the books. I'd like to say I did controller level work because the controller there was not quite living up to what his title was. So I was doing the controller and the staff level accountant work over there. Did it for about a year, and then I had connected with Garrett, and we decided to run this CPA firm. So I got my CPA back in 2021. My CPA license, but I've been practicing since I think I said I got it in 2019. I think I actually started in 2018. So I've been practicing for 8 to 9 years, I think, by now.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure working with you, and I tell people all the time, like, you and I, we have great strengths where the other one isn't as strong. So you know all the CPA stuff, all the tax expertise. That's all your bread and butter. And then when it comes to the sales and the gaining of clients and prospects, that's my wheelhouse. So if any of you out there can set up a business where you have someone that's focused on fulfillment and someone that's focused on sales, you can be pretty successful if you know what you're doing. And we've had a lot of success working with business owners and helping them grow as far as keeping them in compliance, as well as planning going forward and reducing tax liability as much as we can between the lines. And and it's been awesome. So we've started doing some CFO level services as well, and some business advisory. And as some of you may know, watching some of our videos and listening to the podcast, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Is there anything you want to touch on specifically today, Matt?
I think you know what. Let's talk about our dynamic,
Yeah,
because I do think it is
let's do it.
interesting. Not a lot of small CPA firms. In fact, I feel like a lot of the questions we've received in the past has been, um, "What does Garrett really do?"
Yeah, yeah,
That's a lot of questions we've received being a smaller CPA firm. I think on a larger CPA scale, larger CPA firm scale, they'd be someone outside would be able to identify truly what you do
right.
because they'd say there's so much that they have to do. Of course, they have a guy that's not a CPA on the team. But we do, you're not a CPA. You don't do
Yeah.
any tax work. You don't do any accounting work. Um, what what do you think sets us apart because you're on the team?
Yeah, I think, from my experience from outsiders telling me about their CPA firm, it's I can never get a hold of them. It's a common stereotype. I can never get a hold
Right.
of them. Takes me a week to get back. I reach out to him after tax season, and I realize he's on vacation for 2 weeks. Why? What the heck? Um, what's nice is no matter how busy Matt gets in our firm, people can always call me and I will help put something on a calendar. Maybe if it's a super simple question, maybe not tax related, but doing something with our firm, I can answer it very quickly. All of our clients have access to my cell phone. There's a few that abuse it, not too bad, but no, it's valuable to have someone in a role like myself, not only for the selling aspect and helping grow the business, but maintaining current clients and making sure that we're getting back to people in a timely manner. One of an episode I'm going to drop here soon with a client of ours, Matt. He was talking about how he's got an electronic to-do list, which is kind of like what I have.
Uh-huh.
And I'm going to release a short on it soon before I put the episode out. We had some issues with the episode, so I'm trying to get it figured out. But it was a great conversation. And he was talking about how he's like, sometimes my team, I drive them crazy because of all the things I follow up on, and I ask them, hey, did we do this? Hey, did we do that? It's not that trying to be a pest. And sometimes I can feel that way asking you and the team, like, hey, did we get this? Did we get that? It's just it helps when you have someone that just constantly is ensuring, without pestering, I hope, just making sure nothing slips through the cracks. If Matt was on his own, this is nothing wrong with Matt or someone in Matt's shoes, but you wouldn't catch everything. You're just we're all human is what I'm trying to get at. And so to have someone that's able to make sure that all the nothing slips between the cracks and all the details are getting recognized, I think that's super valuable. And I hope you appreciate the way I come at it. I don't definitely try not to pester the team too hard, but yeah, there's just stuff that I'm able to recognize that maybe the accountants and the tax preparers and the CPAs, you guys are so worried about numbers that I can kind of look at a higher level and make sure that stuff's getting taken care of. So
Yeah, well, you know what? I actually want to know this because this is how I thought of it. Whose idea was it really to start this firm?
yeah, my dad likes to remind me all the time that
Yeah.
he's the one that told us to do it this way.
Yeah,
So,
and I'll give that to him.
um,
I'll give that to him.
yeah, for sure, for sure. We were just talking about that this past week. So, yeah, it's a great structure the way we
What
have
was
have
what
things
was
set up.
his
So,
what do you think some of his thoughts were? Because those applied what you said applied to why I feel like that's kind of the why that he had for why he thought we should start the accounting firm. So like what
mhm.
were what were some of his experiences with his accountants? And then he goes, you know what? We need to have
Yep,
I know two guys that can do this.
yeah. No, I kind of mentioned it. Those were some of his examples earlier
Yeah,
where I can't get a hold of my CPA or he goes on vacation for 2 weeks. Like, there's no one that can answer my question. I just got
right.
one simple question. Where do I
Or
apply this?
you know the other
Yeah.
one? you call in, oh, I'm sorry, he's out at lunch right now. Lunch for
Uh-huh.
2 hours. He's going to come back in 2 hours from lunch, just in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Disappointing.
Yep.
Disappointing.
Yep. And a lot of CPAs, I've noticed, don't have like a calendar link. Maybe I'm sure there are some that do. I guarantee there's some that do, but a lot don't. And that's something we implemented just recently in creating a calendar link for both of us. So
Mhm.
someone has a question about some tax questions, tax specific, they can book on your calendar. If it's something business advisory, they can book on my calendar. And that's been really good too, to be able to say, hey, we're available. Now I will say that those calendar links, they're billable meetings, but you can still put a time on there for when you need questions answered.
Yeah, you bring up a good point. So we're just going to jump to another piece that I think is interesting to talk about. I what I have noticed in the CPA world is we have a lot of tax practitioners that are, and these are CPAs, people that just prepare taxes. Just you can call them advisors if you want. I don't really at this point, if they're treated this way and if they have this thought, is um they feel like they're doing a little bit of a public service. I know that my clients, when they know that they're going to talk to an attorney, they're paying a bill every time the attorney thinks about them. I had a guy, we have a guy that spoke to us the other day. He said his attorney was talking to him about his divorce, and he goes, I was thinking about your situation over the weekend. And then our guy goes, of course, no wonder. Oh, of course. Okay, so you're running up the bill on us.
Yeah.
So, whenever the attorney thinks about you, he or she is billing you, right? Accountants, unfortunately, in our industry, so this is what we have to deal with, is a lot of accountants, definitely on the smaller side, do not bill for their time. And so there's a lot of free work being done, underbilled work being done. And, yeah, it's to the benefit of the client because the client doesn't have to pay for it. And, we're not greedy here, but ultimately what I've learned is sometimes your clients don't owe you anything, and they're not going to think they owe you anything. You might think that you're doing them a service, and then and you won't charge them for the time that you put in. Well, they don't know what type of effort you had to put in. They don't know that what it looks like to research tax code and apply it to their situation. Sometimes they don't know what it looks like for what it looks like to run the numbers. We just give them a simple equation and they go, "Oh my gosh, it seems so obvious when you handed it to me." Well, there's time that's put into it. And
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
ultimately what I wanted to get at, Garrett, was talking about value, the value of having an advisor. And we want to provide services for our clients to help them grow, and hiring an accountant, an attorney, any advisor like that helps you with compliance, HR, payroll. This stuff, yeah, it's the back office work. It has to get done. We know you have to file a tax return. You have to file a tax return, whether you have a business or personally. Everybody has to file a tax return. What are the two things we're always guaranteed? Death and taxes. So we always have to file this stuff. So we know we have to pay for it. But what structure I'm trying to come at with is how can we help you make more money or save more money? We want to keep you in compliance. We want to help you get to that next step. You hire an attorney because you have to get to a next step. When you hire an attorney, what is it for a business transaction? Hopefully, and I'm talking in the business sense. I'm not talking a divorce attorney anymore. That yes, you have to do something with that, but you're trying to hire an attorney to get to a next step. It's supposed to protect your compliance so you can grow. We work with a lot of people that want to grow. They're in a growth mindset. I,
Correct.
we and us as accountants, as on our side, we are, yes, we are another back office cost. We're not someone that directly creates more income for the client. However, I do think there are things that the accountant does that does lead to growth. and more income for the client, or saving costs. And that's the position that I want to take. And then I feel like when we take that position with our clients, we help them understand that, they understand how valuable it is to finally pay that bill to us, instead of having a scarcity mindset of, oh my gosh, a 30-minute meeting, I have to pay for that. Yeah, we get that. We understand it. But what value do you think it is out of that meeting? What ROI, return on investment? What's the return on investment for 30 minutes? Is it going to grow
Yeah.
your business, X
And
more
we
than
try
what
we
we
try
price?
our
Go ahead,
best.
Garrett.
I was just saying we try our best for those out there that we try to give you a number. Hey, we're gonna do this, it's gonna cost this, and we estimate, we can't guarantee anything, but we estimate that it's gonna save you X amount in taxes or whatever the case may be. So
Mhm.
to your point, we try our best to kind of give some solid numbers, the best we possibly can.
Sorry to interrupt this great podcast episode, but I want to talk about today's podcast video sponsor. It's the Jones Group, CPA and Advisory. Their purpose as a firm is to lead and educate business owners, empowering them with knowledge and strategies to achieve clarity and confidence while alleviating the pain and suffering that hold them back from success. With core values like accountability, relationships, growth, preparation, and honesty, they're going to keep you in compliance and also make sure that you're getting the education that you need on how to run your business properly. Give them a call today. You can go to their website at thejonesgroup.us, the Jones Group CPA and Advisory. Now back to the podcast.
So
Right. And ultimately, a CPA, the CPAs as a profession is one of the most trusted professionals out there. You can, if you're trying to think of someone that has a license, the CPA is one of the most trusted professions. So I guess you could come from one of the standpoints where that's why the tax practitioner or the CPA ends up doing a little bit of free work, because they're so trusted. They go, it really wasn't, I should have known this, or I should have done this, should have done this instead. I won't bill for that. That is them coming from a trusted standpoint. So that could play a role into it. But really, I mean, the client can decide that they want to leave at any point. They can take that free advice. They can take whatever you did, even though you underbilled them, and go somewhere else. And that's me understanding that from a small business owner standpoint. Garrett and I have been in business for long enough for us to have some scars on that already. I feel like thought we treated the client well. Maybe we thought of it as a little bit of an investment in the client by underbilling. But what's always funny is Garrett, what's the saying that you always say that Jerry Jones said?
what did he say? He said, it's had something to do with paying a discount, right?
Yeah, isn't it? Is it you get what you paid for?
Yeah, you get what you pay for. He said, he said something to the effect of, people can look it up online. I've never been happy with a service that I've taken a discount on. Every
Yeah.
time I've paid a discount, I've been disappointed. Discount
Yeah.
equals disappointment. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Just
Yeah, I've made videos on this. So for those of you that have watched the YouTube videos, those are out there.
beautiful.
Our YouTube channel, Jones Group ADV. You can check that out. But yeah, there's a lot of long form content on there that we've done. So on that topic specifically.
Yeah, you've been doing a lot on there. I've
Yeah.
noticed.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell the listeners. Initially, that was something that I was hoping that I would help us build, but just haven't quite gotten there around to it. But it's been great seeing that you've been able to build some of that catalog on there.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think some of the goals are out of that? Do you direct any clients towards it in meetings, or?
I do. I've actually started figuring out. So it's funny you bring this up. I started just a couple weeks ago taking all of the videos. I think I've done about 15 or so long form videos on there now on YouTube. I've started taking those videos and I've started creating emails that I mass email to our business owner clients to give them value and kind of a write up on,
That's
maybe
right.
maybe it's a 5 to 10 minute video, but it's a 60-second read if it's put into a couple paragraphs. So I've started sending those out to clients. That's great marketing material for any of you out there that are making content. There's always stuff you can do with videos. And if you're able to get the transcript from the video, you can actually plug that in and create a post off of it, social media post, and also create an email. So there's a lot you can do. When you make just one video, the possibilities are endless of the things that you can do with that just one video. So I want to touch on just networking real quick, Matt. So we have Matt and I founded the Entrepreneur Lounge with Cody Crest as well, and it's been a massive success. We have an event coming up here in a couple days, and just kind of speak on the Entrepreneur Lounge, if you would, and the successes of that so far.
Yeah, so I'll actually come from the stance of why we created it. So
Yeah.
It's Garrett and I have noticed we've done multiple streams of how we can try to obtain a client, and nowadays it's really popular to just think of hiring a marketer or taking your figuring the strategies to do it online, which is understandable. It saves time if you can get a great pipeline of clients or prospects coming in, especially really good ones if they're vetted or you have the right target market through online sources. But it's great if you're able to get them through online, because you don't have to, we don't have to leave our desk to get a new client. It's just all of a sudden we have a new meeting scheduled. That's not really not saying that it hasn't ever worked for us, but I feel like when we've ran the equation, we haven't done an exact equation for it. But I feel like when we've looked at it, the conversion rate from prospect to a client is lower. The clients that we do get are a little bit lower quality or less committed to working with us.
Correct. Yeah.
They'll be oftentimes late, or they're unresponsive sometimes. We're not really sure if they're going to work with us next year. I feel like we've done a good job, and all we get is complaints. But what I noticed was when we got clients, we've gotten way more business by going up to meet people. I like what Steven Tower said on the meet. I don't know if he said it in the call with you guys, or if I just remember he said it at Entrepreneur Lounge, but he said nose to nose, toes to toes.
Yeah.
So you walk up to someone and you shake their hand, you're right in front of them, and you have their full attention to just have a connection. You can understand, like for us, I mean, part of us understanding someone is just, hey, tell us a little bit about yourself. And then we can get a free flowing conversation. We work with people we like, right? It's harder to know if you like someone through a screen or on your keyboard. I feel like it's a lot easier to know if you like somebody if you meet them face to face.
Yeah.
And so I think networking has just worked really well for the two of us. And that leads me to say, that's why we started the Entrepreneur Lounge. We noticed it has worked so well for us. Why don't we create a space for other people to join and enjoy their networking experience? Because we've also learned what networking should look like and what it shouldn't look like. Right,
yes.
Garrett?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah. And I agree with what you said. It's nose to nose, toes to toes. It's all about relationships. I've said it a few times. I probably, when I go to have coffee with someone, I would say it's 50% of the time I'm closing business at that coffee meeting. Not necessarily just with that client, but maybe they refer me somebody, right? So if you knew you could go to coffee and 50% of the time you're going to get business out of it, I think you'd go. I hope you would.
Yeah, and that's a good point. That's a good point that you brought up about going out to coffee with someone. Now, I think some of the underrated pieces of networking, you might think it's obvious, Garrett. I think it makes sense too, but I think for people that haven't networked much, or maybe have been networking and they don't think it's been working that well. I mean, we've been in some networking groups where we've been having to meet requirements, so it's been obvious to us.
Right.
What are some of the things that you've noticed that not necessarily just to close business, but really you get more out of the networking experience. Because I got a couple in my head, so I'll point them out if you don't, but I've got a couple in my head.
Yeah. Things I've noticed that close business better. Is that what you're asking?
It's either closed business, what ultimately we go network because we want to grow our business, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's ultimately why. So it could ultimately be the leading to close
Yeah.
business, but some people just say they just want a better experience. So like, what are some of the
Mhm.
things that you'd say improve the experience for networking? And is it something about the group that you have to find,
Right.
or is it something that you have to do as the individual joining the group?
Yeah, personally, I make it about them, right?
Uh-huh.
So make it about the members and the attendees. The Entrepreneur Lounge, like, yes, it's a formed business, but Matt and I don't make any money off the Entrepreneur Lounge directly. It's all from referrals. So any of the money that comes into the lounge, we put it right back into creating events, improving events. We have members on a executive board that meet monthly, and we kind of review how things are going. We also dig into someone else's business. So Matt and I are constantly making it about the members. It has nothing to do with us. We get just as much time to introduce our business as every single person in the room. So everybody gets, a 60-second intro, and Matt and I get the same. It's no different. So we're not just up there standing on our soapbox talking about the Jones Group. It's about everyone else.
That's a good point. I wasn't even thinking about that one, but that is a good point. We have been to some groups that I have one on the top of my head that you meet in their office and then they talk about themselves because they're the sponsor, which is fair, but they talk about themselves as the sponsor for 20 minutes.
Yeah.
And then everybody gets a 60-second chat about what they do.
Exactly right.
But I was thinking of going on, what are some of the things as a person? So, and I'll bring it up. I'll bring up this as a quote. I'll start trademarking, start saying it was mine because I say it so often now.
Okay.
But went to this networking group, and truthfully, it was BNI. For anyone that's been BNI, you can say what you want about it. I think it's good for starting out your business and understanding what it looks like to network, because they have rules, they have metrics that they track, which might get you out of your seat and start actually doing some of the things you need to do to network. But I think after a period of time, you might not need it anymore. That's just what Garrett and I have noticed in our business. But some people have been in. I've been in a BNI group that the people have been in it for 8, 10 years, and they still love it. They love being in BNI. I just don't think the commitment works for a professional firm like a CPA, an attorney, or a financial advisor. I just don't.
Yeah,
But
that's growing.
yeah,
If you just wanted to work out of your house for the next 40 years and just do it all yourself, you'd probably stay in BNI forever. But
yeah, it
the
depends.
client
I
base would be
think I
different.
think the home services companies get a lot more benefit
Yeah,
out of it, just because they can go, hey, you got Doug right across the street that can do your plumbing, and I got Joe over here that's my handyman. It's a
yeah,
lot easier than working with a CPAs. We don't refer. I mean, not saying that we don't refer ever, but we just don't refer back to that type of service as often. There's only a few people we really can refer back and forth because of the same type of integration, but otherwise it's not the same. But I did want to say, so when someone goes in, let's say you're trying to figure out, how can I get my best, I can get, you're trying, when someone joins a group, sorry, you join a group and you go, hey, I'm joining this networking group, or I'm going to attend this event, and especially if you pay. I'll say this one side note: if you're paying for the event, it's probably a higher quality event.
correct.
And if you're paying more money, it's more likely it's a better event.
Right.
Just think about, if you have to think about how much money you're paying into it and you think you're a good resource to speak with, imagine all the other people that are paying to join.
Right.
If it's free, you go, hey, there's no barrier to entry. Well, think about how many great people are going to show up because it's free. Just think about that. But I did want to say, if you're paying to join an event or to show up, I would say Don't think of it as I'm paying to show up or I'm paying to join. Think of it as I am hiring this event to grow my business.
Correct.
You do not just join these networking groups. You hire them. They work for you.
Yeah. Yeah, you're
Ultimately,
hiring maybe a room of 20, 30, maybe 40 in your case.
That's right.
Sales reps.
Well, let's think about it in the Entrepreneur Lounge, right? However
Yep.
many people show up to the Entrepreneur Lounge, how are ways that you can improve your sales team? If you think of the Entrepreneur Lounge, whatever networking group you show up as, we're going to use the Entrepreneur Lounge just because that's the one that Garrett and I are talking about right now. But this could be any other group that you show up to as the individual walking into the group and you hire them. If I think of my group being a sales team, now I have to figure out how am I giving them my pitch to tell everybody else the stories about what I do.
Right.
I'm going to train my sales team.
Yeah.
How do I train my sales team? How much time am I going to dedicate to training my sales team during a week? That is not an answer that you have to say to me, that there's no necessarily right answer, but you probably have to put more than just 1 hour. And typically a networking group is 1 hour in a week.
Right.
How many hours in a week are you going to get dedicated to training your sales team? Is it 1? Is it 5? Is it 10? 10 might be a little high. Now, if you have 10 hours, might as well. But if I'm going to grow my sales team or I'm going to train it, I probably have time spent with my entire sales team. And that's the Entrepreneur Lounge. I would probably have time spent with each individual salesman or saleswoman.
Yep.
And Garrett, that is where I was trying to get out with this. That's where you go out to
Yes.
coffees.
Yes, exactly.
So when I go out to coffee, if I go into the meeting and I think I need to train my sales team, that's one piece. Now, I also don't want to go into the meeting and truly understand. I do truly want to understand they're not really my salesperson. So I'm not telling them everything about me. I have to learn about them too.
Right. Right.
But if you take the stance of hey, this is my sales team. Now you get the stance of I am hiring this group, I'm hiring this network to work for me. What do I have to do to get more out of them?
Right.
Because if the group is not giving you referrals, it's not growing your network, it's not growing your book of business. It could be the group. There are some things you can identify within the group. But I truthfully would say a lot of it, more often than not, it has something to do with you as the individual, not putting enough effort, time, or thought into what you're doing at the groups.
You went exactly where I was going to say.
Yeah.
And to piggyback on that too, there's a strategy that I've used for a while now. And whenever I use the coffee example. Whenever I go to have coffee with someone or lunch with someone or even if it's just a virtual call with someone, one of the things I really like doing up front, if I don't have anybody to send them referral wise, what I'll do is I'll say, hey, Matt, I know this financial advisor. I want to connect you with him. I think there's a lot of synergy there. Would that be okay? And you might say, sure. And then once I get off our call or leave our meeting later that day when I'm in front of my computer, I send them an email, Matt and financial advisor, and I'll connect you guys. It did nothing for me but give. And the more we give, the more we're going to receive. And so I'll do that. And it's not a BS connection. I actually am going to think that this connection is synergistic, if that's a word. But
Sure.
I like to connect people rather than just it gets the wheels flowing, right? Gets the wheels rotating and gets things going. So I like doing that.
Yeah, and the larger we grow our network, the easier it is for us to find someone to connect on after that coffee, right?
Yep, that's correct. You're also creating a web for your network by doing that. You're connecting this person and this person, this person and this person, this person, this person. You're creating a giant web around your company. So yeah, but I definitely wanted to touch on networking since we started this together, and the Entrepreneur Lounge has been awesome. So if there's anything else you wanted to connect on, but we can. But tell everyone where they can find our company.
Yeah, we are the Jones Group. You can find us online, www.thejonesgroup.us. We're a CPA firm. We do your bookkeeping, we do your taxes, we do advisory work. That's what we really love to do, because the bookkeeping and the taxes, those are compliance. We're just that's historical too. That's necessary. Everybody needs to do it, but we want to grow the business. So that's why we really push. We really want to work with people that we can do CFO, COO work for. We want to be on their team and helping them grow. That's the stance we took with the Entrepreneur Lounge. That's the stance we're taking with us as an accounting firm. That's really what we want to do. We want to help small business owners grow. Maybe your thought isn't to grow. That's fine. If maybe we're not the people, or we can help you keep you at the same spot and just figure out how to get you out of working in the business. We want to help you grow an asset that can operate on its own and that without mom and dad still there every day. That's ultimately what we're trying to do.
Exactly right. Well, Matt, it's been a pleasure, and wish you nothing but the best working with this guy.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to hop on again and talk more. Awesome. We've got a lot of tax changes.
Yep.
I'll say this, actually, a lot of the same. So that's the good thing. We were actually in 25, we were going to start reverting back. After 2025, a lot of these cuts that we had enacted in 2017, we're going to revert back. But we have actually a lot more of the same staying at least for the next few years due to the bill passing recently. So I'd love to hop back on and give a little insight on what that looks like, both for individuals and businesses. I mean, lots and lots of stuff to cover. Whenever you have new presidents, especially if they're in for 2 terms, they start getting comfortable and they enact some taxes. And that's what keeps us, the CPAs, in business.
Right. Yeah, and we'll get on another podcast here soon, and we'll talk about stuff more in detail, because I know people have a lot of questions about some recent changes that have been going on.
Yeah.
So that'll be good to do. So,
yeah.
Matt, I appreciate the time, man, and we will connect again shortly.
Yeah, thanks, G.